Today I've invited a group of primary school governors to come and look at two programmes about an issue which is a very important topic for governing bodies' agendas. Every Child Matters. I'm keen to find out how useful the programmes will be and actually how much the governors know already about Every Child Matters.
I'm Gwyneth Williams. I'm a governor at Luckwell Primary School. Every Child Matters, I've had very little involvement with that at the moment. I'm not a parent governor, and I have only just briefly looked at stuff on the website.
Great, thank you.
I'm Gail Guest. I'm Chair of Governors at St Barnabas. We're sort of looking into it through our school improvement plan.
I'm Oriana Hosford. I'm a governor at Clyst Heath Primary in Exeter, which is a brand new school, so we should have a flying start in a way, but we're just catching up really with being a new school and finding it difficult to fill in a SEF at the moment.
That's the self-evaluation form, isn't it? So
yes.
No background history.
No background history, no.
Yeah. Thank you.
My name's John Gregory. I'm a parent governor from Luckwell School. We've been updating Every Child Matters throughout the school, and it's an ongoing process that we're doing at the moment.
Oh, great. That's good to hear about that later on. Thank you. We're going to really spark our discussion by looking at two programmes, Every Child Matters and Pupil Power. I'm going to stream programmes down to my laptop from the Teachers TV website. The first programme is from the General Zone. It's in a strand called School Matters, and it gives background to Every Child Matters and its 5 outcomes for children. The clip I've chosen focuses on multi-agency work. Here, an on-site team of childcare professionals is meeting to discuss individual cases.
The reason we're here is so that we can have a discussion about the multi-agency review meeting I had on Robert last Thursday. These are the minutes, and I just want to make sure that we all know what's happening and that we're joining up. The school is usually the place that has the greatest contact with the family. So in an ideal situation, a child will attend the school every day. This means as a community hub, it's a much better place to draw in other professionals rather than an occasional visit to the hospital and an occasional visit to the psychiatrist. Recently, 2 members of my team did a home visit because a lad was school-phobic and refusing to come to school. When they got there, the house was filthy, the heating and electricity had been cut off. There was a dog that was sleeping in a child's cot and other dog mess all over the carpet and things. They returned straight away to school and spoke to the school social worker. He was then able to make a visit the next day with the school policeman, gain access, and the child has been placed in the care of other people. He's now back in school and he's been included in school for a couple of hours a morning.
How do you think your school is going to manage the interagency work?
We feel we have got people of responsibility, but it's like you say, it's the speak that I was very, very impressed with the amount of interagencies there was, and whether it's because it's a larger environment than our school, I don't know how it would all relate, apart from making connections through areas of responsibility.
I think we saw quite clearly in the programme how that cut the time waiting, that referrals could be made quickly, and I think that really, for me, is making the 5 outcomes for children work quicker.
I think the speed element is crucial for the child, and I think watching that and seeing that they could go there immediately or the next day, and it happened within a few days, and I think that is why this has come out.
What sort of questions might you ask your head if you knew interagency work was going on in your school and new people coming in?
You might certainly home in on whether they're coming at it from a common language.
Having worked in schools, we've been governors, we're used to SEFs and PANDAs and PATs and all the rest of it. Head teachers will have to increase that knowledge of social services language as well, you're right.
Where should we be asking as well? Is it our schools or is it actually asking the LEA? Who do we go to ask, really? We can see what's happening in our school, but if we want that support, we need to be supported as well.
Well, I think you can go to your LEA and ask. I mean, you could go to your Governor Services, to get information about how things work. You could ask for training. Your LEA might be able to set up training where there are people from the other agencies. One of the members of the multi-agency team working at the school is a full-time police officer.
Basically my role is to protect victims and also the suspects and build relations within the school so people get to know that police aren't seen as the bad side of things.
Let's start with our scales, first scale.
The Children Act 2004 also encourages schools, or groups of schools, to extend the school day. The programme looks at how one school is involving members of the community to run after-school clubs, like this one on gospel singing, run by a local singer.
I was particularly interested in the school police officer.
Yes.
I thought that was the nice concept, especially the fact of having him go in sometimes not in uniform, just to prove that he's a human being like everybody else. And they commented on what is his particular taste in clothing or something. But I just thought nice that the human face of someone.
I mean, that would be building very good relationships with the students in that situation. How informative was it for you in your situation?
I think it's probably important to all of us in our schools in that children from our schools will be fed into large secondaries like this, and it does give us an idea of what they would expect when they get there, and what probably we as governors should be looking for in establishing links with the secondaries to which we feed.
They did also mention in the programme about schools' extended hours, extended services for children, extended school status, one of the heads called it. What about that in your schools?
Yeah, at Luckwell we've got the breakfast club and the after-school club, so that, for working parents, they can drop the kids off 8 o'clock, pick them up, I think it's up to 6 o'clock in the evening, and it makes it easier for parents as well. They don't have to juggle so much.
I also think that what about the health of children in relation to having something to eat? Because I think the research has shown, hasn't it, that it's so important that children get a good start to the day.
I just was interested in the number of systems and, like you said, how quickly they were put into action, and it was interesting sort of the clubs and everything around what the children wanted to do.
It's nice to know that they've got all those things in place to help them solve their problems that they have.
The second programme I want to show the governors, Pupil Power, looks at how one primary school is implementing Every Child Matters through empowering its pupils.
North Chapel Primary School, West Sussex.
The programme looks at both the work of the school council and the school's approach to teaching philosophy and thinking skills.
We completely threw out the whole curriculum. We threw out the cue, quite literally, into a skip.
We're going to be using as our stimulus today a piece of music, so I'm going to ask Miss Critchley to play our piece of music.
We introduced philosophy for children again as from last September, and each class tries to do at least 2 philosophical inquiries a half term.
Can we have a little think now, and let's highlight the questions that we think are good philosophical questions, questions that we think will be good to talk about rather than it just being a one-word answer.
The adult is there very much as a facilitator, just to move the discussion, not to impinge on it, not to choose questions, but to take the children along the philosophical debate.
Welcome to Class Council. There are 2 things on our agenda today. Anyone got any ideas?
We could change tables around because people get squashed in their usual tables.
We can't run a school, we can't manage their learning unless they're fully involved in it themselves.
Okay, dismissed.
First of all, let me throw it open to see what you thought about the programme.
I just thought it was amazing how she literally took everything and said, that's it, we're getting rid of this and this is what we're going to do, which takes a lot, I think. And as governors, I think if that happens in our school, we really have to go with it. But obviously, seeing through the video, it had been achieved for the best for the children again.
I'd very much like to discuss the philosophy aspect of the programme. I was interested in the effect that it has on citizenship, and the fact that children are learning to agree or disagree with other people's opinions, but still to like the people and get on with them, basically. And I think there are many adults who never learn that in the course of their lifetime.
True. It's good to see that there's that challenge, and children are being analytical about what they might feel, how they want to present an argument or a discussion. So I mean, that was new to me. I was particularly interested in that myself. And if that was in more schools, say, particularly highlighting that part of citizenship, then that would affect citizenship in an area, wouldn't it? How people are as citizens as well.
The school councils, that's something that Luckwell did do. They seem to have phased out, but I think when we get back we'll discuss about bringing this back in, because I know that my kids have benefited from it in the past, and I know that they do talk to each other within the school environment itself, but that I think was a useful tool to have it back in place.
What I was interested in from the programme was the fact that there are two sorts of school council: the overall council of the whole school, and then sort of like within each class. So I think it's nice that they obviously are able to voice things just that involve them at their level and throughout the school.
Let's open the discussion about school councils then, and have any of you got them at your school?
Yes, we do have a school council. It's held in each class monthly, and then they actually action plan their ideas, what they want to happen, and they take this action plan to the head teacher, and then she responds.
I think we're trying to establish a school council, but I haven't heard very much happening yet.
Tell me, in your school, have you got groups of children who've come together for the first time?
Yes, we have, very much so. I think we had sort of about 20 different feeder schools coming into that one, and not all from the Exeter area either.
So obviously the head is using some time to let them build relationships together before they can see themselves who might be on the school council.
Yes, before they can feel that they are actually a community. That certainly is one of the problems with the new school, that it's not yet its own community.
One of the initiatives featured in the programme is peer coaching.
An individual has to be prepared to give back to the community and to the society. Now here at North Chapel, one of the ways in which the children give back is that peer coaching. They have a great sense of family here. The Year 5s, the Year 4s feel very responsible for the reception in Year 1s.
Does anybody want to add anything about the peer coaching?
Well, at Luckwell, the older ones listen to the younger ones read, and what they also do within the same age group, within the same class, if there is someone that perhaps has problems focusing, by listening, then they will sit another child with them to help them to listen to what's actually going on. And that goes throughout the whole school.
Because that actually might help the young children feel safer. Because I remember when I was 7 being afraid of the 11-year-old girls.
Oh, definitely.
And that helps the young children feel safer, but the older children are making a positive contribution.
But we have in Year 5 and 6 peer mediators, and so all children are trained to look after the young ones so that you don't have that feeling of being scared or nervous. They have people definitely to go to.
So from these two programmes, have you thought of anything that you might want to do? Right, you're leaving here, going back to school. What are some of the things you're going to do back at the school that you've learnt from today?
One of the things that John and I will be taking back is the school council idea, and just check whether we really do have one. I'm pretty sure we don't.
I think I'd like to go back and see what's happening about peer mentoring in the school. I'm not saying that it's not happening, but I haven't asked the question.
I think that's the issue, isn't it? I'm not saying it's not happening, but I haven't asked the question. I think that would really sum up how we're learning from today and going back to school. We're not saying it's not happening, but we are going back to ask the questions. Well, that's all for today, but if you've enjoyed the programmes we've looked at, then remember you can download them from the Teachers TV website. I'll see you next time.